I will explain the rules of DUNE Imperium Uprising. A game for 1 to 6 players by Paul Denham, illustrated by Clay Brooks, Raul Ramos and Nate Storm, and published by Direwolf, in which you evolve in the universe of DUNE as a leader of a great house in search of controlling the Spies, the most coveted resource of this universe. Place the board in between all the players according to the game mode. Here, it's competitive for 1 to 4 players. Place the 4 alliance tokens on their respected locations on the influence tracks, as well as the shield wall token in its designated area under the location of the spice refinery board. Separate the conflict cards according to their backs, shuffle each pile and form a conflict draw pile by gathering the 4 level 3 cards on the designated space on the board, then add the 5 level 2 cards and the single level 1 card. If you are playing with the CHOAM module, shuffle the 20 contracts face down and turn 2 of them face up into their appropriate spaces under the council. Then place the remaining contracts face down in the bank. Shuffle the Intrigue cards with the Intrigue cards from the CHOAM module if applicable, and form a draw pile that you will place near the board. Do the same with the Imperial cards and reveal the first 5 to form an Imperial row. Place the 2 reserve piles, prepare the way and the spice must flow next to these rows. Then place the spice, Solaris, water, marker hooks and sandworms somewhere near the board. Each player receives 1 water and a leader of their choice. However, you can only use Shaddam Carino IV if you are playing with the CHOAM module. The difficulty of each leader is indicated by the white circles next to their name. For a first game, it is advisable you choose a strategically less complex leader. Collect the pawns of the colour of your choice. Keep 2 agents near your leader and place the 3rd on the Swordmaster space. In a 4-player game, take one of your discs and place it on the 1 of the score track. When playing with fewer players, place it on the 0. Your combat marker is placed on the 0 of the combat track, and place cubes on the lowest square of each of the influence tracks. All other cubes represent your troops. Place 3 of them on the garrison circle of your choice. The remaining elements are placed near your leader. Create your starting deck containing 2 convincing arguments, 2 daggers, 1 diplomacy, 2 Dune the desert planet, 1 reconnaissance, 1 seek allies, and 1 signet ring. Shuffle it and place it face down to the left of your leader. Then draw 5 cards to form your starting hand. Shuffle the objective cards according to the number of players and receive 1 at random to place face up in your reserve. The player whose objective card displays the first player marker takes that marker. Playing solo, 2-player and 6-player games require some adjustments. For a 2-player game in normal difficulty mode, add the components for a 3rd player called Rival. Take the cards of the same name and use the cards of House Hagal, or use the Direwolf app, whose link you'll find in the description. Though when distributing objectives in a 2-player game, the Rival can never be the first player. They receive the Orny objective card, while you receive 1 at random. In solo mode, choose a 2nd rival to add to the setup and adjust the difficulty level as indicated in the rulebook. Reveal the first conflict card. It offers rewards that if you compete in a conflict, you will gain at the end of the round. Starting with the player holding the first player marker and continuing clockwise, you each take 1 turn at a time. On your turn, choose a card from your hand and reveal it to place 1 of your agents on an empty space on the board. Each card displays 1 or more symbols that you will find on the board indicating where you can send your agent. Some locations, however, require you to immediately pay an additional cost to get there. These can be by paying Solaris, consuming water, trading spice, or having certain levels of influence. These constraints are all indicated under the symbols of the locations. When you use a space to influence a faction, advance your cube 1 space towards the top of the corresponding track. Immediately obtain a victory point when you reach the 2nd space of each of these tracks. and the bonus indicated when you pass into the coloured zone on the top of these tracks. The first player to arrive in a coloured zone of a track wins the associated alliance token and advances one space on the score track. Be careful though, if you are later overtaken by another player, they take this token from you, advancing on the score track while you move backwards. Some locations allow you to add troops to your garrison. You then place the number of cubes indicated into your garrison. Other combat spaces display a double sword symbol, allowing you to deploy troops into a conflict. You may deploy all or some of the selected troops during this same turn, plus up to 2 additional troops from your garrison. Each time a sandworm icon appears on a card or on a location on the board, you immediately attract and deploy a sandworm into the conflict. They are never placed in your garrison. There are, however, 2 restrictions on their use. First, the sandworm icon is usually preceded by a requirement to have a marker hook token on your garrison, which must be obtained beforehand. Second, a sandworm cannot be summoned into a conflict protected by a shield wall. Some conflict cards represent a fight occurring in one of the 3 locations of Dune that are protected from storms and sandworms by a shield wall, a token placed on the board during setup. As long as this token remains in place, no sandworms can be drawn into a conflict occurring in one of these 3 protected locations. However, it is possible for a player to create a breach in the shield wall using explosives. When a shield detonation icon appears on a card or a location on the board, you remove the shield wall token from its location. Once this token is removed, sandworms can be drawn into any conflict. Some locations allow you to draw or destroy cards or obtain resources. When you place an agent in order to draw an intrigue card, take the top card of the corresponding draw pile and keep it secret from the other players. Plot cards indicate when in the game you can reveal them to benefit from their effect. This can be during the agent's turn, or the reveal phase, during a fight, or at the end of the game. When playing without the CHOAM module, the contract icon means you simply gain 2 Solari, as indicated on the board. But when playing with the CHOAM module, the icon means that you can take one of the 2 face-up contracts from the board and put it into your reserve. When you take a contract, replace it with another contract from the bank by revealing a new card. When you complete a contract, announce it. Gain the reward represented on it and turn it face down. Keep this in your reserve as some cards refer to completed contracts. Various observation posts dot the board and are connected to 1 or more locations where you can place spies. When the spy icon appears on a card or a location, you can place a spy from your reserve onto an empty observation post. If there are no spies in your reserve when you are required to place one, you can first recall one of your spies without triggering any effect. When the recall spy icon appears on a card, you can return one of your spies from an observation post to your reserve in order to benefit from the card effect. A spy can also be recalled without the recall spy icon being present. If you want to send one of your agents to a location occupied by another player, you can recall one of your own spies from an observation post and send your agent to that very same location. Or, whenever you send an agent to a location, you can recall your spy from a connected observation post to draw a card. To do this, you must decide to do it immediately after placing your agent, i.e. before receiving the effects of the location or the card played. The spy agent icon allows you to send an agent to a location connected to an observation post on which you currently have a spy without recalling it. Finally, the card used to place your agent can also give you an additional effect if noted in the agent box on that card. When the first player has placed their agent and resolved the effects of the chosen location, it is then the next player's turn to do the same. In a 2-player game, reveal the first card of House Hagal, or draw a card from the application and resolve its effects before the second player places an agent. Rivals obtain resources from House Hagal cards and rewards from conflicts, but not those from the locations on the board or the bonuses on the influence track. A rival accumulates resources to gain a weapon master, and as soon as they have a sufficient number of resources, they spend them to gain that weapon master. Once the weapon master is obtained, the rival begins to spend their resources on victory points. Each time the rival has the indicated resources, they spend them. Beware that rivals do not recall their spies to benefit from any special effects mentioned earlier. Instead, each time a rival places their third and final spy from their reserve, immediately recall the other two and trigger the scheme ability of the rival's card. When you have no more agents to place, or you deliberately decide not to place any that you have left, you move to the reveal phase. Reveal all the cards that you have left in your hand and place them in front of you. The cards used to place your agents previously are not taken into account during this phase unless there are links between the cards. Then, in the order of your choice, resolve the effects of your cards. Persuasion points allow you to acquire cards from the Imperial row or the reserve. Some cards allow you only when you acquire them to benefit from an immediate bonus. Place the card in your discard pile and immediately reveal the top card of the Imperium deck when you buy a card from the row. Any persuasion that is not used is lost. The strength involved in a conflict is adjusted at any time during the game by moving your markers. Each troop counts for 2 strength, and each revealed sword counts for 1, and you must have at least 1 troop in the conflict to participate. With 2 players, turn over the top card of the House Hagal deck to determine the strength added, if any, to the conflict of the rival during their reveal. When all players have done the same, move on to the combat phase. Starting with the player holding the first player marker and continuing clockwise, players with at least 1 troop in the conflict may play any number of combat intrigue cards or pass. The player with the most strength points wins the combat and the associated reward. The player in second place wins the second prize, and in a 4-player game, the player in third place wins the third prize. In a 2 or 3-player game, this prize is not awarded. In case of a tie for first place, the players concerned win the second prize, and if they are tied for second place, they receive the third prize. If you control at least 1 sandworm in the conflict, double all of your rewards. Some locations are involved in conflicts. When the first player receives their reward, they also add their control marker to the designated location. From now on, each time an agent visits that location, whether it be one of their own or one of their opponents, the player who controls the location will receive the indicated bonus. Finally, there are 3 battle icons. When you win a conflict, you take this card from your reserve. Look to see if you have another conflict or objective card with the same icon, and if so, you must turn over the pair of identical cards to gain a victory point. In solo or 2-player mode, the rival earns conflict rewards and accumulates them in front of them. However, they never earn contracts. If an effect indicates this, the rival in question gains 2 Solaris instead. Then move on to the marker phase. For each location on the board with a marker icon and no agent in place, add 1 additional spice. You then take back your deployed troops, your agents, and place them near your leader, and the sandworms are put back into the reserve. Also discard all of your cards played this turn. If a player has 10 points on the score track, or all the conflict cards have been resolved, the game ends. Otherwise, reveal the next conflict card, draw 5 new cards, and the first player token is given to the next player. When your draw pile is empty, shuffle your discard pile to form a new one. If a conflict card involves a location where one of the players already has one of their control markers, they can immediately deploy a troop from their garrison in this new conflict. If the end of the game is triggered, you can play your end of game intrigue cards. The player then with the most victory points wins the game. Enjoy your game.